I don't even know why I'm writing this here. Maybe it's guilt, maybe it's desperation, or maybe it's because I've lost everything, and this is the only place I can say it out loud. All I know is that I ruined my marriage, my family, and my life, and I did it in the most humiliating, public way possible. My husband and I were together for 12 years, married for 10. We had what most people would call a good marriage. We had 2 kids, a home, a routine. He worked hard, I worked part-time so I could spend more time with the kids. And on the surface, we looked like that stable, dependable family you see in holiday cards. But under the surface, things weren't perfect. We'd fallen into routines. We barely went on dates anymore. Conversations were more about bills, chores, and the kids' schedules than about us. I'm not saying that as an excuse. God knows I don't deserve excuses. But looking back, I realize I was lonely. I craved attention, excitement, anything that made me feel like more than just mom or wife. That's when I met him. Let's call him D. He was a coworker at my part-time job, just a friend at first. He was funny, easy to talk to, and unlike my husband, he noticed the little things. If I changed my hair, he mentioned it. If I looked tired, he asked if I was okay. It started off innocent, just conversations during breaks, then texts about work, then late-night chats about life. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself everyone needs a friend. But it wasn't harmless. It was a slippery slope, and I let myself slide all the way down. The flirting got heavier, the texting more frequent. Before I realized it, I was deleting messages and lying about where I was. I justified it to myself by saying, I deserve to feel wanted, or it's just emotional, not physical. But that was a lie too. Eventually, it did get physical, and the guilt came crashing in every single time I went home to my husband and kids. I thought I was being discreet. I thought no one would ever know. But secrets have a way of surfacing, and mine exploded in the worst way possible. It wasn't my husband who caught me. It wasn't even Dee's girlfriend. It was one of our mutual friends, someone who knew both of us. She saw me and Dee together one evening, and instead of quietly confronting me or telling my husband privately, she decided to expose me in the most humiliating way possible. It was at a backyard barbecue. Dozens of our friends, neighbors, and even my husband's parents were there. Everything was normal until she suddenly stood up and said, "Hey, maybe someone should tell my husband that his wife has been screwing around with Dee." The silence that followed was suffocating. Everyone looked at me. My husband froze, then looked at me with this expression I will never forget, like he didn't even know me. At first, he laughed in disbelief, like it was some horrible joke. But when he saw my face, when he realized I wasn't denying it, the laughter died. He didn't scream. He didn't throw things. He just stood up, pale and shaking, and asked me one question. "Is it true?" And I couldn't even speak. That silence was the answer. The rest was a blur. I remember people whispering, my in-laws storming out, Dee disappearing like a coward. My husband walked away from me without another word. That night, he locked me out of the house. The next morning, divorce papers were on the table. The fallout was immediate and brutal. My kids, God, this part hurts the most, were devastated. At first, they were confused, but then they became angry. Angry at me. They wouldn't look me in the eye. My daughter told me, "You broke Dad." My son just refused to talk at all. Within days, They were staying full-time with my husband. They didn't want to see me, and he didn't force them. Friends? Gone. Most of them sided with him. The same mutual friend who exposed me made sure the entire social circle knew the details. My phone stopped buzzing with invites. People at work whispered behind my back. Even my family told me they were ashamed. I tried to spin it at first. I told myself I had been unhappy, that I'd made a mistake but didn't deserve this level of punishment. But deep down, I knew the truth. I had betrayed the one person who loved me the most, and I had humiliated him publicly. It wasn't just an affair. It was a spectacle. I didn't just break his heart. I embarrassed him in front of everyone we knew. And now I'm here, alone. My husband doesn't speak to me except through lawyers. My kids don't answer my calls. My reputation is in shreds. Dee, he ghosted me completely. I was nothing more than a fling to him, and now he won't even acknowledge me. I spend nights replaying that barbecue over and over in my head. The silence, the look on my husband's face, my daughter's words. I can't escape it. I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I thought a few stolen moments of attention were worth destroying a marriage, a family, and my children's trust. I keep telling myself I was lonely, but the truth is, I was selfish. I had everything: love, stability, children who adored me, and I threw it all away for nothing. I don't expect sympathy. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even expect anyone here to believe me when I say I'm sorry. I just needed to say it somewhere, because no one in my real life will listen. I ruined the best thing I ever had. And now, I don't know if I can ever fix what I destroyed. Update 1. I didn't think it was possible to feel worse than I did when my affair was exposed at that barbecue, but I was wrong. That night was just the explosion. The aftermath has been the slow, suffocating collapse of everything that used to be my life. The first thing my husband did was file for divorce. No hesitation, no waiting, no let's try to work it out. The papers were in my hands within a week. His lawyer was sharp, and honestly, I didn't even have the strength to fight. I could see the hatred in his eyes every time we were in the same room. To him, I wasn't his wife anymore. I was just the woman who betrayed him and humiliated him in front of everyone we knew. The custody battle was brutal. Though battle makes it sound like I had a chance, I didn't. My husband had proof of my affair, testimonies from friends who had witnessed my behavior, even screenshots of texts that had circulated once word spread. I looked like the unstable, unfaithful parent, and in truth, that's exactly what I was. The court gave him primary custody without much struggle. I was allowed visitation, but it was limited and, honestly, meaningless. My kids wanted nothing to do with me. That was the part I wasn't prepared for. I thought maybe, just maybe, my children would still love me unconditionally, even if they were angry. But I underestimated the damage I had done. They weren't just mad at me for cheating. They were mad at me for breaking their father. The first time I tried to call my daughter after the divorce proceedings started, she picked up, listened for a second, and then said, "You hurt Dad, not just yourself. Don't call me again." My son didn't even give me that. He just blocked my number. The only communication I get now is through my husband when we have to discuss logistics, and even then, it's curt and formal. I thought losing my husband was bad, but losing my kids, that broke me in a way I can't describe. Socially, it was no better. Friends I had known for years, women I'd gone on coffee dates with, people who had stood beside me at school events, they vanished. Nobody wanted to be associated with me. The mutual friend who exposed me at the barbecue made sure everyone knew exactly what I'd done, and my husband didn't correct her. Why would he? He had no reason to protect me anymore. At work, the atmosphere was suffocating. I could feel the whispers whenever I walked into the break room. Conversations stopped when I entered. People gave me pitying looks or avoided me altogether. Even my boss seemed disappointed in me. And Dee, the man I threw everything away for, he disappeared as soon as the dust settled, blocked me, cut me off, moved on with his life as though I never existed. To him, I was nothing more than a mistake he could walk away from. Meanwhile, my husband seemed to thrive. He poured his energy into the kids, into his job, into building a life without me. He got promoted at work, bought new furniture for the house, and even started dating again. And not just dating casually. He found someone stable, respectable, someone our kids liked. It stung more than I can admit. I watched from the outside as he rebuilt his life stronger than before, while I sat alone in my apartment, surrounded by silence. The cruelest part? Nobody sympathized with me. Normally, in divorces, people pick sides, and there's at least a small group that defends the other spouse. But in my case, there was no one. My husband made sure the truth was known far and wide, and I gave people no reason to defend me. In their eyes, I got what I deserved. I've tried to fix things. God knows I've tried. I've sent letters to my kids, apologizing, telling them I love them, begging them to give me another chance. They never replied. I've tried to talk to my husband to show him I'm remorseful, but he doesn't care. He sees me as a stranger now. I even tried to reach out to Dee, as pathetic as that sounds. I wanted answers. Why he dropped me. Why he acted like I didn't exist once everything blew up. But he ignored every attempt. And in a twisted way, that was the final nail in the coffin. I realized I'd destroyed my family for a man who never loved me, who never intended to stand beside me when things got hard. I gave up everything for nothing. Therapy has been my only lifeline. At first, I went because the court recommended it, but now I go because I have to. Because if I don't, I'll drown in the regret. Week after week, I sit in that office and unpack the mess I made, trying to understand why I risked everything for a few moments of excitement. The truth is simple. I was selfish. I wanted attention. I wanted to feel desired again. And instead of dealing with my unhappiness in a healthy way, I chose the path of destruction. Now my days are empty. I go to work, come home to my silent apartment, and try not to cry myself to sleep. I keep replaying the barbecue in my mind, the moment my husband's face fell, the look in my daughter's eyes when she said I broke Dad. Those memories haunt me more than anything. People say time heals, but I don't think time can heal this. My husband has moved on, my kids have moved on, and I'm stuck in the ruins I created. I feel like a ghost, erased from the life I spent a decade building. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I know I don't deserve sympathy. But if I could ask for just one thing, it would be a second chance to be their mom again. Not my husband's wife, not part of the social circle I destroyed, but just their mom. I don't know if that chance will ever come. Right now, it feels like I've lost them forever. And if that's the punishment for what I did, then I guess I'll carry it for the rest of my life. Final update. It's been months since I last posted. By now, the divorce is finalized. The ink on those papers might as well be a gravestone marking the end of the life I used to have. My husband, no, my ex-husband, has moved on. He's seeing someone seriously, and from what I hear, she's good to him and the kids. They like her. She's everything I wasn't. Stable, trustworthy, consistent. It stings, but I can't even be angry about it. He deserves someone who won't betray him. My children deserve a woman who shows up, who doesn't lie, who doesn't throw away everything for a fling. That's not me. The kids still don't talk to me. I've sent countless letters, birthday cards, texts. I've left voicemails they'll probably never listen to. The only response I've gotten was from my daughter, and it was short. Stay away. We're happy now. Reading those words broke something in me I don't think will ever heal. So, I live alone. A small apartment. Sparse. Quiet. The silence is the hardest part. Coming home to nothing, waking up to no one. My identity used to be wife, mom, part of a family. Now I'm just the cheater mom. That's how people remember me, if they remember me at all. At family gatherings, I'm the name nobody wants to mention. When my relatives do see me, it's awkward small talk, eyes that avoid mine, and then a quick excuse to leave. I used to think my husband's revenge would be rage, screaming, or making my life legally miserable. But that wasn't it at all. His revenge was worse. He moved on without me. He erased me. He didn't need to destroy me. I'd already done that myself. All he had to do was pick up the pieces I left shattered and build a new life without me in it. That's what he did. And I was left in the rubble, watching from the outside. I've been in therapy since the divorce. At first, it was court-ordered, but I've kept out why I made the choices I did, why I threw away the stability and love I had for something meaningless. The truth is ugly, but simple. I wanted excitement. I wanted to feel desired. And instead of confronting the boredom and emotional distance in my marriage like an adult, I looked for validation somewhere else. That selfishness cost me everything. I've cut out drinking, cut out the late night scrolling through old texts, cut out the desperate attempts to chase people who don't want me anymore. I focus on work, I read, I cook for myself. I've tried to pick up hobbies, even started painting again like I did when I was younger. Little things to fill the empty hours. But no matter what I do, the quiet is still there. I've come to accept that my children may never forgive me. Maybe when they're older, maybe decades from now, they'll want to reconnect. Or maybe they won't. Maybe my punishment is permanent distance, a wall I built myself that they have no obligation to tear down. I can't force them to love me again. I can only wait, and wait knowing that the answer may forever be silence. Sometimes I drive past the old house. The curtains are different now, the front yard better kept. I see my ex-husband's car in the driveway, sometimes hers too. the new woman in their lives. I see my kids' bikes leaning against the porch. I don't stop. I don't knock. I just drive past, my chest heavy, and remind myself that this is the consequence of my choices. That home isn't mine anymore. That family isn't mine anymore. The reflection hurts the most. Looking back, I realize I didn't just ruin a marriage. I ruined trust. I ruined the image my children had of me. I ruined a man who once loved me so much he would have done anything for me. He held his dignity, though. He protected the kids, kept his composure, and didn't let me drag him into my spiral. That strength, I see it now, and I admire it, even though it came at my expense. I traded a decade of love and stability for a few months of attention. I destroyed the best thing I ever had for nothing. And this loneliness, this empty apartment, this fractured reputation, this distance from my children is my punishment. People ask if I regret it. That's not even a question. Of course I do. I regret it so deeply it feels like my bones ache with it. But regret doesn't change anything. Regret doesn't give me back the look of trust in my husband's eyes. It doesn't give me back my kids' hugs. It doesn't erase the humiliation I caused or the emptiness I live with now. Sometimes, when I can't sleep, I think about what I would say to my husband if I ever had the chance to sit across from him one last time. I think I'd tell him that I see it now. His strength, his resilience, the way he built a better life after I tried to tear it apart. I'd tell him that I know I was wrong, that I know I don't deserve forgiveness, and that I'll spend the rest of my life wishing I hadn't been so weak. But I don't get to say those things. He doesn't want to hear them, and I don't blame him. So here I am, months later, still sitting with the weight of my choices. My punishment isn't a courtroom sentence anymore. It's the quiet knowledge that I destroyed myself. I used to have a family, a home, and love. Now I have nothing but memories of the day I threw it all away.